Check, mic check, 1, 2.
Yo, is this thing on or what?
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Platform Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Dex, and today we're sitting down with two guests making content all over Nashville, photographers, videographers, actors. We got Ryan, we got Patrick. What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Doing great. I'm pumped to be here.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I always watch podcasts and I see people walk in like 30 minutes to an hour late. And like, I'm like, I would never do that. And then I was 30 minutes late today. So,
but with reason, you may have gotten the wrong time.
Mix up. It was a mix up.
Yeah.
So, but
that
we're here.
Might have been my fault.
We're here now.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, we're going to get into a couple things today, obviously. Talking about your company, Winning Productions, what you guys do, the things that you guys have been doing here in the city and what you've done prior, and just kind of getting into the content world that we live in right now and you guys making it. So we'll get started. I mean, Ryan, just kind of tell us a little bit about what you do, where you're from, and getting into the details of your company. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm kind of all over the place with what I do. There's like you mentioned, there's like a little bit of acting there, but majority of it is marketing, social media and organic growth. And then, having this production company that really is meant, I mean, we're meant to be able to do anything. We're just focusing on high production, quality things, just producing quality really when it comes to either nightlife or with musicians or with small businesses or whatever it is. I'm from Rochester, New York. And it's like, it's weird. Now we're down here in Nashville and like how we met, it kind of, I mean, he's also from New York. He's from Boston, New York.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I didn't know if you guys knew each other.
Yeah. Not prior to, do you want to tell the story of how we met?
Yeah. So I was working for my college's hockey team, Clarkson University, and I worked for both the men's and women's team. And Ryan's sister, Haley, in my opinion, one of the best female hockey players of all time. Shout out Haley. But yeah, so she played for the team and she was a freshman right when I started doing like video production and photography for them. And we got connected through Casey Ditzel. Shout out Casey. He connected us in like January and we met. We shot a little bit together at a hockey game, at his sister's hockey game, and Ryan saw my work, and basically you just said, all right, buddy, you're moving down to Nashville. And I said, I had nothing planned after I graduated in May, and I was like, sure. Like,
I mean, there was like almost no guarantees with him moving to Nashville. I was like, okay, I'm going to take care of your rent for like this amount of time, and then this is what the breakdown will be like. And I know there's work. Like I know that there's a lot that we can get to, because I got to the point where I became stagnant, where like I took on a full-time marketing job with a hockey company. So I was working full-time doing that. And then I also helped my buddy he owns a wax company, performance wax, like hockey, surf and stuff like that. And I was also doing that marketing. So like in there already, I'm working like 40 to 50 hours a week. And then I'm trying to keep up with Winning Productions. And at that point, I'm like, I know there's work, but I can barely get to it at this point. And I need to somehow like offset some of this work so I can work on Winning Productions more and whatnot. And I was like, okay, I need to hire someone without really knowing that I could pay that person yet. But it's like, I know the work's there and I know that we can make quality content. And it was like the pieces just fell into place. Go to visit my sister, meet Patrick, see his work. And I mean, to give him credit, like he trusted me. I basically guaranteed him almost nothing. I'm like, do you have anything set up after college? No. I'm like, move to Nashville. Okay. And came down.
Yeah. That was literally it.
Yeah.
Like,
how long have you been here now? Not even a year, right?
No, I've been here almost 5 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like 5 months.
How long have you lived here?
I'm coming up on 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. But when I moved here, I wasn't doing marketing and video work right away. I took a job as a Milwaukee sales rep. I was selling power tools when I moved down here.
I'm from Milwaukee, so.
Okay.
Love Milwaukee tools.
And I never got to visit headquarters. I didn't stay around long enough. But knew I was moving to Nashville out of college, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to take like the first like guaranteed salary job I can get. Took that job. And then like 3 months in was so miserable and it was like going in such a bad direction, like mentally, physically, creatively, like everything. And I was like, okay, I had no guarantee to anything else. Quit the job. I like bartended at Jack Brown's Burgers in Germantown for 3 months while I like figured things out, and then slowly like got one job at the production company, and then, you know, met this hockey company, and then started getting work downtown, and then everything kind of just built up.
So I know we kind of talked prior, did you go to school for media related things or just kind of something you self-taught yourself and now it's kind of taken off? Yeah.
It was entirely self-taught. I didn't take any, I was in economics and political theory double major in college, and I minored in
completely
theater.
Different.
Yeah. Not even close. like when I got there, I was like on a track. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to law school. Like I was studying like constitutional law, and, still ended up, could you imagine me in law school, dude?
That would be a nightmare.
But when I was there, I started doing like social media. I got into that into high school. I went to a prep school to play hockey, so it's like a private boarding school.
Yeah.
And God, that makes me sound snotty, eh? Because people don't like. I feel
like that's how hockey is, though.
It's how hockey
that's
is.
true. That's true.
We would have kids that just like came in to play for like junior gamblers, and they would just come in to just play hockey.
See, but you kind of get it though, because like you're around, like I feel like people in the South, when they hear like prep school or juniors or like whatever that, they're like, oh, so like you're rich. And I'm like, no, like I went there as an athlete. Like they like,
you just basically
I wouldn't have gone there.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I kind of continued that like social media theater trend in college, but I wasn't studying it. I was like vlogging. They were literally getting no views, but I was like learning how to do everything. And then TikTok launched, and like maybe the second video I posted on TikTok did like 10K. I was like, whoa, that's more views than I've ever gotten doing anything.
What was the video?
It was literally like a reaction video
to
somebody else. And, then I started like filming behind the scenes of like the hockey team and whatnot. And then like a variety of other things. Like COVID happened. I lost a lot of weight. Maybe there were some thirst traps in there. Kind of.
That's when the views went up.
That's when the views went up. Which is like, in hindsight though, that launched like my ability to then go to companies and be like, listen, this is what I did for myself organically on social media. I didn't pay for anything. I didn't pay for a single ad. All I did was like try and understand an algorithm, like dive into that. You understand what's working and you make slight variations. And so that like 360,000 person following that I grew allowed me to get work with other companies along with like paid ads on the platform.
Yeah.
So it's like, if that never happened, if COVID never happened, no joke. If COVID never happened, I wouldn't have lost weight. I wouldn't have gained all those followers on social media, and like my entire life would be different.
And not have taught yourself how to do any of that, where now that's what you do for your job.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like COVID was a terrible thing for a lot of people. Like honestly, it was one of the best things that happened to me because it kind of led me in that direction.
Yeah.
It's also when I got that acting job as well.
Yeah.
The one acting job I've gotten in my career.
Yeah. I mean, your path is a little bit different. Obviously, you went to school. You were doing this in school.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting though, because I had started photography my junior year of high school, and I was considered a pretty good photographer. I look back at my photos and I very much disagree, but like the first like couple gigs I got in high school, I was shooting concerts at the college I ended up going to. And it was like junior year of high school. I shot Waka Flocka and Bass Jackers. And that was like a lot of fun. And pretty much at that point, I realized that's what I wanted to do. Before then, and kind of like throughout high school and beginning of college, I was like making like skateboard edits for like me and my friends. We'd go skateboarding a lot. And I'd be the filmer and I'd make like cool skate edits and stuff like that. But that was kind of like all I did until I met this guy, Zach, who was a producer in Hollywood for about 10 years. And he ended up coming to Clarkson, and he was a video production professor. He only taught 2 classes. So I took 2 video production classes, 1 photography class, and 1 video art class, which was wild. because it was very like artistic, video editing and stuff like that. So that was the extent of my like education, like formal education into like video production and photography and stuff like that. Other than that, I mean, it was kind of like same thing as Ryan. Is just like I was just doing it for fun, and I learned a lot. And then honestly, the biggest part of college and where I learned the most was working for the hockey team. Like that's where I learned pretty much everything. And like I made a short film, met a few friends that were like more into like cinema and stuff like that. Made a short film. It got into a festival, and kind of like when that happened, I made that film. I was like, okay, this is like really like I want to do creative video production as like storytelling, basically as like the end goal. So
were you thinking at that time like creative storytelling as in like you going like a producer route for things, or toward any certain like sports or athletics or doing kind of movies, things like that?
So I knew during my senior years, I didn't want to just do athletics.
Yeah.
I was getting burnt out. I was kind of sick of it, from a mixture of like the culture behind a lot of like athletes and athletic teams, to just doing kind of the same content year after year after year, with the only thing changing is who plays on the team.
Yeah.
So it was, I was kind of like decided I didn't want to do that. Moved into, like kind of doing like promo videos. And I enjoyed that because it was more of like, okay, I'd like recorded an interview with a student, for example. I did these promotional videos for the business school, and I would pick out apart like little clips and stuff and like put them in, and like it would be this like whole interview that would end up becoming like just like literally seconds of the interview. Yeah. And then I'd use that and like bring a story out in the edit, and that's what I really enjoyed. Like that was something that I wanted to do. And then like, yeah, and now we kind of do like nightlife stuff, and there's still like an opportunity for storytelling. Is like you tell the story of the night while making it look really cool. So
is Barstool the only nightlife venue that you guys work with right now?
So yeah, we've been shooting with other venues, like Nashville Live. We've shot at Whiskey Row a couple times.
Yep.
The first places that I worked with before, this is like a year before Patrick came into the picture, was all the TC Restaurant Group restaurants.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that was, I think a lot of people, sorry, I'm taking a lot of side routes, but I think a lot of people think you need like equipment and like all these things. I was shooting with an SL2, which is like literally a $400 camera.
Yeah. Not a great camera.
A camera that, I mean, literally like when I was like, I want to get into this, my parents like gifted me this for like Christmas. Yeah. Right. With the lens that it came with. And then I got like a 35 millimeter or something like that. That's all I had. And that's what I was shooting with downtown for TC Restaurant Group. So it's like, that came back to, it's literally just like who's holding the camera and what your vision is and storytelling. I feel like what Patrick's getting to, which I feel like no matter what you're creating, if you're creating a video, taking a picture, creating a sound, like whatever it is, everybody's trying to tell some sort of story or like convey some sort of emotion. But anyway, back to, and then TC Restaurant Group. But hopefully, can't really say much right now, but hopefully we'll be working with Barstool like a lot more closely as we continue to go.
I mean, the work that you guys have been doing for them has been awesome. And then obviously like all the pictures, the videos that you guys put together. And then even we were just talking about it the other day of just like how quick some of this stuff went up. Like I was literally DJing there the other day. He went and took a picture, and then like 30 minutes later it was up on Instagram, and I'm like, is he still here? Like, and he's like, oh yeah, I just went in the back, like threw it up on Instagram right away. I was like, damn, that was fucking quick. Like,
he was this Halloween. He was crushing it this Halloween. Yeah, I mean, it was that a couple of reels, someone doing a backflip.
Yeah, that looked dope too.
Yeah,
just the clip that you guys cut, and just kind of how you edited to make it look like it was like kind of like flashing and like almost like stop motion. Type look to it.
It's I think it's important to get stuff up quick. And like nothing necessarily has to have generally like a really set purpose. It's just like, if it looks sexy, put it up. And like, if it doesn't perform well, it's like not that big of a deal. You don't get punished for something not performing well.
Yeah.
So,
and I feel like even if it does, like, all right, if something's not doing, fucking delete it.
I mean, that picture that I took, that I showed you, that on that was Saturday.
With the guy with the sign.
With the guy with the sign, the holeless one.
Hilarious too.
I mean, that went up, and when I left Barstool, the end of that night, I took the picture that night. I left Barstool at, I don't know, like 1:30 in the morning, and it was already at like 13,000 likes on Instagram, which is huge. So that went absolutely viral, and it's because it got put up quickly. And
if that got posted today, it wouldn't do nearly like a small percentage of the numbers it did.
It's like when you get a good shot, like we just send it to the social media person, and then she can choose to post it. She's usually always kind of active, and it's like it's just about putting content up. Like getting it out is like important.
Yeah, because I think that's like, if I were talking to a company, the advice I would give too, or if we were working with a company, if we came out on a retainer, like the important thing is that you're consistently posting. Like you have to expect 95% of your content to not go viral. Like 1 in every 20 posts might go viral, and that's like, that even still is like relatively high if you're not like, you know, a too big to fail kind of name.
Where no matter what you post is getting 1 million likes.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's like the misconception of social media. That's why people give up a lot, is because it's like, post 3 times, none of these 3 posts went viral. It's like, you shouldn't expect them to. You really just want to build a profile and a foundation like that is going to keep people there when you have a video that does go viral. Right. So like, if you have a page of content that is all really high quality stuff, and then you finally get that peak where like, holy crap, this did 4 million views. People that go to your page, if you don't post consistently, they're going to be like, oh my God, they got 9 posts, or they got like, so there's nothing there, or it's just not high quality, or like whatever it is. They're not going to follow. There's no reason to stay. If you have that consistency, everything's high quality, you're posting constantly, multiple times a day, whatever it is, everyone's got a reason to stay because they're just looking for that next thing.
Yeah, and I feel like, to your point, if you do have that one post that goes viral, then they're going to go to your page. And if you do have all that other content, that's where they can just kind of go into a hole of like, all right, cool, let me scroll through all his other shit.
Absolutely.
Yes. That's something like my girlfriend will do all the time. Like she'll hop on TikTok, fall into a hole, and just be scrolling where it's like she finds one profile. And you just hop on there, and then she'll just like start scrolling through this person's entire profile.
That's the trap you're trying to set.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, you talked about a little bit about what you would be pitching to clients. As far as, since you've started Winning Productions, what's kind of the route that you go to pitch yourself to clients, and how has it changed since now that you're getting more work and more content out there yourself? And then just kind of what have been some of the more difficult things with clients, and maybe like getting your foot in the door with them?
I think the foot in the door, honestly, is the flashiness of our content. Like, as far as nightlife goes, at least, I mean, of course I'm biased, but I think we make like the sexiest nightlife content on Broadway. That's how I'll pitch myself. I'll be like, you'll have the sexiest edits on Broadway, like hands down.
Yep. I mean, that's how we landed Barstool. Like you literally told Iga, the manager, that, and
those exact words. I was like, you'll have the sexiest edits on Broadway.
Yep.
And I think sometimes too, like, depending on like how corporate a company is, like people are like, they might not use language like that. It's like, to me, that sells more, because I'm like, I know what you really want. You want sexy. You want your place to look unbelievably dreamy. We're going to get that. And I think like that kind of being raw, like right off the bat, like, trust me, we're on the same page. Like, we don't have to dance around it. That helped us a lot for sure. And then obviously, as you continue to land clients, I feel like it just adds credibility, like as we found.
You just kind of add more to your resume, where then they're like, oh, cool, you've done this work. You've done this work. It just kind of makes it a little bit easier at that point.
Yeah, and Patrick's huge on that. He's always responding. He's always responded to DMs. Obviously, we're getting more and more because it helps us with artists. Because nightlife and sizzle reels for artists they're not the same, but very similar. You want the artist is sexy, right? It's the same thing. It's like the reality of the situation is sex sells, right? If you can make something look sexy, you can make people want to be at your show, want to be at your venue. Like that's the goal. And yeah, Patrick's on top of DMs as they're coming in, and it's been getting busier and busier, which is good.
You guys have a lot of people just reach out to your website or your Instagram, just directly wanting you to do work with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a decent amount. That's kind of like since shooting for Barstool, just because we get a lot more exposure from them. It's like kind of like shifted. Also, just at Barstool, people will come up to me and be like, "Hey, do you do music videos?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, we do music videos," and then we'll exchange information. And it's like we shifted from like kind of constantly reaching out to clients, being like, "Hey, like this is what we can do for you. Like we'd love to come shoot. We'd love to come do a test shoot." To like now, people are coming to us and like asking if we can shoot for them. Yeah. And something we notice is that like we obviously look like we're very busy on like social media and stuff and like all the content we're doing. And I feel like people are like hesitant to almost reach out and be like, "Hey, can you like shoot for us?" Just because they think we're so busy that we don't have time. And like, I feel like that's not the case, which just points to the fact that like, even when you get people coming in, like reaching out to you, you still should reach out to other people.
Gotcha.
Just because it's like, people think that you're like too
they
great
might be scared to reach out to you
exactly.
and not even do it. Yeah.
Because they think you're like too busy or you don't have the time or they're too small for you. But like, that's not the reality at all. It's like pretty much if you're willing to work with us and, you know, to pay our rate, it's we can work something out. 100%.
Is it just you two, or do you have other employees too?
Right now, we would love to hopefully soon find another employee.
Yeah. Gotcha.
With that being said, like we're contracting a graphic designer right now, so it's like I'd say he's only like full-time employee. Like I don't know. I would like to expand quickly because I just think it's like there's no point in. I'm not trying to keep money in the bank. You know what I mean? Like it's like everything is going back into the growth of the company.
Yeah. Buying cameras that aren't $400.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I mean, we literally have a lineup of equipment that as soon as we get the money, like we will be purchasing the equipment. So it's like quite literally nothing, not to mention like we're working on a potential studio space and there's like a whole other kind of list of things with that. But yeah, I mean, none of it's getting pocketed or even sitting there. I mean, we'll most likely we're gonna post a loss again just because of how much we're gonna try and like upping our quality consistently.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is fine.
So what are you guys looking to do? Like, what are the goals? Are you guys wanting to have your own studio to do more of like shoots of whether it's going to be content for different brands or different artists, things like that? Is an artist realm something that you guys are trying to move into where you want to do music videos, or is nightlife a huge part of it that you guys want to stay in too?
Yeah, I don't know how much I want to
dive into it.
I don't know how much because it is I mean, I think nightlife, at least for the foreseeable future, will definitely be a pillar.
Yeah.
For and sure. Here in Nashville, it's something that's not going away too.
So. Right.
Exactly.
And a lot of Barstool's been super good to us. We try and be super good to Barstool. And it's a great relationship right now, mostly because of the people that are running it. Yeah. Honestly. And we're not micromanaged. We can try basically anything we want to creatively. It's an open conversation. And that makes it really fun to work nightlife because we're not just pigeonholed to like, this is the content we need every time. Yeah. So it doesn't get to the point where Patrick feels like he did maybe when he was doing athletics, where it's like, I'm making the same thing over and over again. Which is kind of like a creative's like nightmare. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that will definitely always be a pillar. We definitely are looking to move into the realm of like music videos or shorts or, I mean, anything.
Documentaries,
stuff, like I mean, eventually, this is way down the line. I would love to do feature films.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think a lot of that's going to revolve around this space that we're hopefully going to get. I would love to, when it's like further along and I'm not like so worried about talking about it, I would love to come down and in detail.
Somebody else snatching it up.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's going to be like I'm more excited about this than anything.
Yeah.
I'm more excited about the space than anything. And it's all going to be like tied together. Like everything's going to work flawlessly. And I've even like the conversation we had a meeting with Barstool on Monday. Like we talked about that space and how it would mix into everything and like how it would mix into any brands that we're working with or any artists that we're working with or other creatives. So
Yeah.
that's definitely.
And like the goal is too, as we expand and start to do other things, is that we don't want to like necessarily lose clients. Is like we want to expand the business to a point where we have more than just the two of us. And let's say me and Ryan end up doing like documentaries and music videos and stuff, and we don't have time to do nightlife necessarily, is we'll have other employees that would be able to take on that work. So we never have to lose a client, and we never have to we would never be at the point where we would have to tell a client, okay, like we don't have time, like, and we just lose them. Like we want to be able to like maintain that relationship with like obviously the quality being checked. Like we're not gonna we're not gonna like have some other person shoot and the quality be different or the style be different. We're gonna be like replacing ourselves with somebody that nobody else would notice, that like necessarily that we're not the ones shooting. And it's just about like finding the right people. And
yeah, because you want them to be able to represent the brand and the company properly as to what you guys have already built it up to be.
Yeah.
I get that completely. And yeah, I mean that if you get to the point where you're able to build a roster and build a team where no matter who it is going into whatever job, the content of the work is still the same. Like that's the ideal thing that you want. I mean, when you go to a restaurant and you want that consistency every time, like whether whoever's cooking, that's the kind of shit that you want.
It's like Gordon Ramsay's restaurant.
Yeah.
It's like you go there and Gordon Ramsay's not cooking.
Yeah.
But he's maintaining the quality and making sure that the head chef there is up to his standards.
And it's his menu.
And it's his menu. Exactly. That's So that's kind of like what we envision.
Right.
Yeah.
So we never leave anyone in the dust.
Yeah.
And to his credit, I feel like he's maybe believe in like the possibility of that, like the existence of that being able to happen without becoming like corporate or like whatever it is. Because that's like the moment this becomes corporate, it's over. It's like it's dead at that point.
You guys don't seem like corporate guys.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily love working with super corporate clients, just because there's a lot more like restrictions, things move slowly. I mean, like sometimes that's worth it 100%. Like sometimes it's worth working with clients like that. But like, I mean, you talk to any creative, like even you probably run into stuff like that as a DJ, where you work with a more bigger corporate where they have to go through like lots of levels to approve things, and the way like even the money moves through, it's just
I mean, you're getting paid like a month and a half to 2 months later, like after the shoot.
And it's
in
like,
full transparency, like
it's that even. I've had some that take like 3 months before you even see anything.
And you're just like, how can I operate like this? You know?
That's one thing with Barstool that we thought, or at least I thought was interesting, is they're very not corporate. It's like they don't feel corporate, at least.
I think that's why they're so cool though.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's one thing I wanted to kind of hit on with you guys too and you were just kind of talking about it a little bit, where you're not really micromanaged and you're able to be your guys' own creative selves, which then makes you not feel pigeonholed. You're able to show up and kind of let your creative juices flow while you're there. And that's somewhere they kind of handed you guys the reins because of the work that you've done and the work that you've made, where now they're so trusting for you to make the videos like security or you walking around and getting into the crowd. Like you've talked about it where you like being able to interact with the crowd and go around and talk to people that are in the bar, get them to open up a little bit and then take all the shots, take the photos, the videos, all that kind of stuff.
It's all about people being comfortable. And I mean, that's the biggest part is when you're filming somebody, especially somebody that doesn't know you, is if they feel comfortable. So like, that's where like, I feel like me and Ryan do well, is that we're like, I would consider ourselves personal people. Like we're kind of like friends with everyone. Like, and that's where that comes in. It's like, not to like, I don't want to bash on other creatives, but like, I mean, it's just the reality is that a lot of creatives can be a little antisocial. I don't want to say weird, but like just like a little quirky and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're working in nightlife, for example, where you have to go up to random people randomly and film them like in sometimes a drunk state, it's like it's a lot easier to be able to interact with them very well and like be able to like make them feel comfortable in front of a camera, like get them to dance and stuff like that, and like have a little conversation with them and like get them to like basically almost like trust you, I guess, to film them. And like, that's where you get really good crowd shots and stuff like that. So
yeah, I feel like it makes it a lot more candid where they don't feel like they're like having to pose or anything to that. You're just catching them more candidly, which makes those shots like that guy doing a backflip where it's like, that's just on the spot. Like,
like, I mean, it was a little plan just cause he asked me and I said, I mean like, you can, if you can do one, you can do one. And I'm like, just do it right here.
Can you actually do one?
I'm like
the liability lawsuit, just waiting.
I'm like, I mean, I didn't sign anything. It's like, he's on his own, but he, I'm just like, do it right there. And he did it. And it's like stuff like that. And then like the rest of that night, I mean, I got asked a bunch of different, like, people could do like different tricks and stuff. I'm like, what?
Like, what the fuck is going on tonight?
Like, but I mean, I got a ton of good content. So,
but even just having the creative control to do the things that you do, like when you guys are doing the stuff with security, which has been fucking hilarious.
That's
something that's been great content wise to see on Barstool's page and for you guys to put up on your guys' own stuff. Is just hilarious. But that's something that, like, I'm assuming you guys decided to do, not them, where it was like your guys' idea.
I think Patrick just developed a good relationship with security, and it kind of like came about naturally, as far as I know. I
mean, it's just like, I mean, I moved here in Nashville knowing only Ryan, so like I have no friends here in Nashville. Like
you will after this.
I had no friends in Nashville, and then I kind of became friends with everyone at Barstool because those were the people I would see regularly all the time. So I became friends with the security guards. I became friends with the bartenders, the barbacks, the servers, the food runners, like the people in the kitchen, the managers, like everyone. And like that kind of became almost like my friend group. And so I talked to the security guards a lot, and I just like, they've become my good friends now, and they come up with ideas too, you know. It's like they've like been like, oh, what if we mic'd me up? I'm like, dude, let's do that. That's a great idea. So we did it, and those videos performed the best on Barstool Nashville's page out of any of them. I mean, one of them's at like 4.2 million views right now, and those are like, that's not something that like anybody above us, like Iga or Lindley, the social media manager, Josh, the owner, had even suggested. We just kind of did it, gave it to them, and like, hey, what do you guys think about this? You know, and we sacrificed our own time for that. Like, we were never paid to do that, but it was something that we tried, and now like
same thing with the cinema shots.
Like
doing the cinema camera,
and Barstool.
And but that's like, I think it's understated how much credit should be given. Like Iga and Josh, and like for them to be in the position they are. And first of all, Iga gets a conversation. Like, we have a group chat where all like creative conversation happens in there as well. So she has a lot of ideas, and she has created an environment where we feel comfortable, like he's saying, to do things like that. And then just be like, hey, what about this? Or just to come with her, or come to her like with ideas, which like, it's understated how valuable that is. Like, for her to create that.
If you're in an environment where you're scared to even ask somebody that, or scared to even do your own thing because you might get shut down or yelled at or whatever it's going to be,
right?
You're losing out on a lot of possible content. But having the comfortability and them to have the confidence in you guys to just kind of let you go, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely a great working relationship.
Yeah, and I mean, even the owner, Josh, like he's not always there or whatever, but whenever he is there, I mean, he loves us. Like we talk to him, and he loves the content we make. And he like very rarely ever like is telling us what to do. He's like, who was the artist that performed there? Not Mads. It was John Langston.
Yeah,
when he like that video, I asked him like, hey, do you have anything? And he's like, no, just make something sexy. And that was it. And that's what I did. And he loved the video. And that's so valuable. It's like we appreciate for them to be able to trust us, to be able to do what we do best.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, shout out to all the Barstool staff. They're all really great.
Yeah, it's dope.
We love working with them.
I agree 100%. I've been loving DJing there. It's a good time.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
They're all super nice, and it's been amazing to work with them.
Yeah.
What is for both of you? What is the craziest thing that either of you have shot or seen in nightlife?
Okay, so I mean, in terms of nightlife, I mean, I've only shot at Whiskey Row and Barstool. Whiskey Row is pretty tame, I have to say. The two I've only shot there twice. Nothing that crazy has happened there. But I mean, I think this weekend it was like the backflip. There's some guy that did on stage a split toe touch, where you like do a split in the air and touch your toes.
Yeah.
And then he like landed and then dropped down into like a normal split. So that was pretty crazy.
That sounds painful.
Backflip. Yeah, right. The backflip was crazy. Couple boob luges, classic. But yeah,
Classic boob luge.
classic boob luge. I mean, that happens. I mean, yeah, nothing specific. That's just about it.
Yeah.
It's a variety of things.
He pretty much covered it. For it's basically all the same, I'd say. It all.
What
it all
about
come
not
from
in
that.
nightlife? What's like some of the favorite shoots that you've ever done?
Favorite shoots?
Because I know, like, obviously hockey is what you enjoy.
Yeah.
Do you like, is that like what you like shooting?
Yeah.
Or do you have other ones that you like more?
I think similar to what Patrick was saying, I enjoy storytelling. Like I kind of want to distance. I played college hockey. I kind of wanted to distance myself from being like just a hockey player or just a hockey creator. And actually the name of the company when I started was Buttery Hockey. I thought it was just gonna be like a hockey media, whatever. And this was like back during COVID when that happened. But I don't know what I enjoy filming the most. The craziest thing I filmed. I'll say this isn't even anything I did for a job or anything. I lived in a van for like 4 or 5 months and just like traveled the entire country and just like filmed all that. And that's actually how we were talking about this before, kind of we came on this, but we're in Stevenson Ranch now. That's how I met those guys. That's how I met John Kilmer. That's how I met Mike. Was on the road. Literally ran into him in the street.
Really?
Yeah. And when we were in Austin, Texas. But that was probably that whole experience, like filming that. And I was with my high school roommate doing that. And we were in a 76 Volkswagen. I mean, this thing, like, I mean, we put like 26,000 miles on it in like 5 months.
I feel like that's the kind of vehicle that you need to be in.
Yeah.
If you're going to
Absolutely.
go on a trip like that.
It's fun. Like neither of us smoked weed.
Yeah.
And every single place we pulled into, people are like, you got some? Like, come on. Like, we're like, no, we actually.
You drive that car, they're like, oh, this is like fucking
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo and Shaggy in here.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. But, that was an unreal experience.
Yeah.
So that was my favorite thing I filmed. Craziest thing I filmed too, probably.
Well, you guys have done some other stuff too, where working with like Tight End University, which I think is fucking awesome. That's something that where they come here to Nashville, bringing in every single major player from George Kittle to Kelsey to Gronkowski.
Yeah.
My buddy that used to play for the Packers, Isaac Nauta, was here last year for it. So like that's how I knew about it.
Okay.
But then I saw them like back this year, and then I saw that you guys were were able to shoot it. Were you there for it or just?
I was. That was
Yeah.
like one of the first things,
Yeah.
like big
Oh, really?
shoots that I did here, because that was in when was that? July?
Yeah, it was over summer.
Or
Yeah, that was
June.
like, we got that gig and I was like, ooh, like Patrick's not going to make like a really small amount of money this month.
Yeah, because I moved here May 21st.
Yeah.
So how did
And-
that come about?
So we still film for, his brand is Alpha Strength. His first name's Josh. And we still film for him. We work with him monthly on a monthly retainer, and he trains like all of the best, really all that's like a lot of top linemen, top tight ends, just a lot of NFL players in general. Like when they're home in the off season, he's got every day 10 to 15, sometimes 20, depending on who's in town.
Yeah.
that he's training. I mean, these guys are beasts. So he trains them out of Fit Lab on Charlotte. Who my buddy Steve Harlow, he owns that gym. It's an unbelievable gym. Trains them out of there, and then he trains them at George Kittle's place as well.
Because I heard he's got his own gym
dude.
that's just sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's unreal.
Yeah, he's got it's called
Like a
the
big
barn.
barn. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a whole setup there, and so that's how we met. That's how we met George Kittle. Was filming for Josh, who like George is the freaking coolest guy. Like I'm sure Josh is like, I'm bringing this camera guy to your house, and George just like, okay, yeah, sure. Like he didn't, he never made like he actually, I think the first time I filmed, like walked right up to me. He's like, hey man, what's up? I'm George. I'm like,
You're like, I know.
yeah. You're like, oh, I had no idea. But yeah, he was so nice and welcoming. So filming with him, and then obviously like when you can, you're gonna try and get George Kittle some edits, because that'd be really cool if he's sharing your stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think it kind of came about last second, because they hit us up like days before Tight End U was actually even starting.
Yeah.
And George was like, these are the guys. So they reached out to, it was a different marketing group that actually does the marketing for Tight End U.
Yeah.
And they reached out, basically contracted us to do the shoot for 3 days. And dude, we barely slept.
Barely
Just
slept.
from the time in there and then doing all the edits and stuff.
Yeah,
right away,
because
or
it
what?
was they were daily
Yeah.
turnarounds,
It was
and
early mornings.
daily turnarounds for as much content as we could possibly turn around. So it was literally like you just had to gauge almost like when you're going to go to sleep. It was like get the recap done, cut anything that you can if it's like really quick and sexy. Like basically, can you do it quantity wise while maintaining the quality? And then it was like get sleep when you could. That first night I slept for 2 hours, I think.
Yeah, I left a little bit early because I mean you can't really edit together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I left. I probably got like 4 or 5 hours.
See,
that
but that's
night.
crazy because a lot of people don't think of the other side of the photography and videography and doing all
Yeah.
the content and what goes into the editing hours. I mean, I think of editing this show and how much time I put into this, but doing something for a 3-day camp like that,
Yeah.
where you're probably doing how many pictures a day plus then videos, and then having to kind of go through all of that
Yeah.
and sift through it and find all the good ones. So.
Dude, and there was another photographer so we were just doing video on that.
Yeah.
Got you, okay.
And so, we have 2 cameras going. I mean,
Nonstop.
that's another thing. Like, yeah, you're filming for 8 hours, right? So like if you go film for 2 hours and then you have a set number of things that you're trying to turn around, it's going to be a lot quicker than filming for 8 hours straight and then having to take the best parts of 8 hours. I mean, that's crazy. Like you're talking like you lay out all the footage on your timeline, which is a weird thing I do that some people don't do.
I don't do it.
And you're looking at like 4 or 5 hours of straight footage. Then you got to sift it down to a 45-second reel for the recap, and then cut anything else that you think is cool or valuable or whatever it is as well, and put it in a drive. And if you don't turn it around fast, then it becomes irrelevant, like Patrick was saying earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we still have a drive with Tight End U with probably like close to hundreds of pieces of content.
Yeah. I mean,
that
we
have not been posted.
Tons
Yeah.
of good clips when we had Kelsey mic'd up, which would have been
Greg Olson
great
mic'd
to
up.
post recently because
Yep.
Kelsey's
Yeah.
in the news.
I was
But
like, that's somewhere now you can go back since he's popping with Taylor Swift. And
Yeah.
it's like you put a clip up like that, and all of a sudden that's something that's completely relevant again. So,
exactly.
yeah.
So
there's a lot on there. We have a folder just for George Kittle that is like stacked. We just posted one the other day because we're like, all right, well, we might as well post it.
Yeah, and he shared it on his story because he follows our production account. So we tagged him and he threw it up on his story, and that ended up getting like 70, like almost 80,000 views.
Yeah.
Which is really good for our 400 follower page. So.
But that's something obviously like different from nightlife, shooting stuff like that, where the athletics side of things, content is very, very big right now, especially from pros now down to college level with NIL deals. And that's something we were kind of talking about a little bit before this, where if you have people making good content for you, that's another way for you to market yourself even more, make more money, get different brand deals, endorsements, that kind of stuff. And it's very, very, very important right now to have good content and to be able to put it out. I mean, you look at any of the top athletes and go through their Instagram, and if they're not posting, it's almost like, well, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yep.
You're actually burning money. Yeah. Is what you're doing.
100%.
You're burning money straight up. And actually that's something I harp on with my sister who's getting better with it. But my sister, like women's hockey, she's she's so hardworking. She won a gold medal with Team USA at 19 years old, like last year. I'm like, hey, you're really good. You need to start sharing stuff, commodifying your presence. Because, I mean, female athletes don't get paid a lot to begin with. So it's like, you need to commodify your platform, commodify your voice, like people are going to care what you have to say, especially like the little girls looking up to you. But exactly what you're saying is exactly the core of what we're taking into hopefully what this studio space is going to be really. It's so true. Like you're burning money. It's just, everything is an opportunity. And if you don't look at social media as purely like a business gain, that's when you're looking at it the wrong way. It should be a networking and business opportunity and exposure opportunity, and that's how you should look at it across the board. It opens everything up entrepreneurially. Yeah.
But there's so many different platforms for it right now too, where it's like you can throw an Instagram reel up, you can throw something on TikTok, put something on a video, on a tweet, pictures up, whatever it's going to be.
YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, YouTube Shorts, same thing too. Where it's like I started putting these up now, and some of the YouTube Shorts I put up, and they were getting hundreds of views, and I don't even have like that many subscribers. I was like, how the hell are these even getting that many? But yeah, it's just like you just got to have somebody to put it together for you, and then just make sure that you're putting it out. So, and you guys, whether you're doing nightlife industry, whether you're doing athletics, whether you're doing different client work, it's all been very, very quality work so far. So
I appreciate it.
The people like that too. So because all the pictures and stuff I saw from there were fucking amazing, and the videos that came out from the camp all turned out great. So I know that's the kind of stuff that I would like to be in on the event and just kind of watch how that all works with that many talented people all together at once, just grinding.
Yeah. A lot of talking.
Yeah.
A lot of talking.
It's a lot of talking. Just it's more of that than anything.
Of just talking and like coaching or talking. Yeah.
I think you think like they'll come in, and I feel like the physical aspect of Tight End U is like the least. Like they went through drills and stuff, but it was really just like picking each other's brains. Yeah. Constant communication. That was interesting. But yeah, the variety, I mean, any creator wants to be able to be versatile. So we don't, like he's saying, like we want to be able to tell a story no matter what the industry, no matter what what the goal is, and do it in a way that's going to gain eyes and, accomplish whatever your goal is, if it's sales or if it's exposure, if it's brand recognition or whatever.
Yeah. And it also helps that I'm better at some different styles and Ryan's better at other styles. Yeah. And like Ryan's really good with effects on editing, and I'm really good with color grading. And that's where we work together so well, is that we're able to combine both of our like strengths into making super good like quality content.
Yeah.
And teaching each other too.
Yeah. For example, like tomorrow I'm driving, actually after this, I'm driving to Memphis to film a luxury furniture company on a day shoot tomorrow. And one of their points of emphasis was that the color needs to look the exact same as the actual.
Yeah, because then when people are going to buy it, they're like, well, it looked different on
Exactly.
the picture or on the video.
Yeah. And so I'm not color grading my own footage. I'm going to give it to him to color grade because I know he'll do that better than I will.
Yeah. And that's where hiring us has more value. It's because Ryan's has spent lots of time honing his skills on certain other things, like getting really sexy shots and stuff, especially with a lot of camera movement. You do a lot more camera movement, where I like to kind of get like a really good frame just still. And I think that's kind of where my background starting in photography has done a lot of it. But like, I've honed getting really beautiful colors, where he gets like really good camera movement, and then we combine those two things, and then clients get a really high quality shot. And that's where we really thrive.
So how do you guys go about, like, obviously that's the kind of after product of you guys being able to get those shots at the time, but then going in afterwards, doing all the editing, things like that. But for something like that, or for any of these other shoots, like, what's your guys' creative process for these? Like, do you have a plan already, or is it something that you guys kind of talk about with them and get an idea from them, or just kind of go through your creative brain?
Yeah, it'll just be different depending on the project.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for a venue, once you shoot there once, you're like, okay, this is how it's gonna go, right? And especially for coloring, like Barstool, we don't have an issue with color now because we've shot there. I know what, like, we can create a preset at that point because we know what the lighting's gonna be like every time. Exactly,
it doesn't change, and like we can make, whether me or him edits the video, we can make them look the same.
Yeah. Which is, again, like, I feel like his amount of improvement to kind of match the style that I already had, he had to, I feel like, change more. Like I think he is better cinematically. Like he's saying, when you think of cinematics, it's a still frame. There's not much camera movement.
Not a lot of zooming. And like, my style of shooting is social media specific. It's basically all that. And that's what performs well
on social media.
That's why I adapted to kind of match what he had going for him, because his videos were doing very successfully, and I wanted to match that success with my own editing.
Yeah.
Therefore, it takes weight off Ryan's shoulders, is where my videos are, almost up to par to like his editing kind of. And we switch all the time. It's like sometimes you'll shoot, I edit. Sometimes he'll shoot, I edit. Sometimes I'll edit my own stuff. Sometimes he'll edit his own stuff. It's kind of like, it's all dependent on bandwidth, and then whose strong suit is in what, and then maybe who shot initially and what. Because ideally, you would like to edit what you shot.
Your own,
it's your language, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like I would think of it like if you're coding, and like there's different coding languages. Like if I'm doing video, that's my language. I know when I take a shot, like what I anticipated this being turned into in post. So it's harder. Like when he's editing the stuff that I shot, it's going to be obviously harder because he's trying to understand my language. Obviously, when you do it more and more, you begin to understand each other's languages.
100%.
Because it's gotten easier over time. But yeah, it's different for based on bandwidth and what the project is stylistically. And you just gauge it on who's got what strong suit, and then kind of go from there. And obviously, like, you have to have that initial conversation with what they're looking for creatively. But for the most part, everyone just wants sexy. Just in a different way.
Yeah. Whether it's a furniture store or a nightlife industry.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. 100%.
I mean, I think for us, speaking as DJs, like, it's so important to have somebody to be able to do photography for you, videography for you. So being able to have like you guys at Barstool, and then seeing all the different DJs that have come through there that have posted videos that you guys have taken, is just so much better branding wise for yourself too. Just to have a well put together clip of you in the DJ booth, of the crowd there, just the kind of environment that happens at Barstool, is fucking awesome to get that stuff. Like, I know you've sent stuff over to me. It's done like, very well.
I always try to get the DJs or even the bands some kind of content for no extra cost to them, just because they post it, they share it, and then they have friends, like, I'm sure you're friends with lots of DJs. Hish is friends with lots of DJs and musicians and stuff like that. So like Hish paid us to make that video that we made for him.
Yeah.
And I shot photos for him. We've had DJ Matt Black. He came and like he paid us to shoot photos for him, and like I'll already be there, but then I'll be focusing like 50% of my time on them. And but even then, it's like I like take photos of you all the time, and it's like I give you the photos. Like I'm about to drop a folder to you of a bunch of like raw video clips and stuff. It's just because I already have it. It's like I already used it. You're gonna post it. It's gonna make us look good. It's gonna get our content to other people. Yeah, brings in more clients for us, and it ends up sacrificing that time that it takes to do that for free. It ends up being worth it in the end for us, 100%.
Yeah, that's funny that you said that, because I was like, I just had a buddy post on his Instagram. He's like, need a videographer, photographer, and I literally just sent him your shit, and I was like, oh, yep. I'm like, hit him up. And it's easy because if it's like on Instagram, like I can literally just send your profile. So it's like right when he goes to it, he's already seeing all the shit that you've done. So it's an easy sell at that point where it's like, cool, like now I know the quality of the work. This is exactly what they're looking for. So, and especially already being in that nightlife realm, it's exactly what DJs and artists are kind of looking for at that point too. So it's easy.
And I think the collaborative, like, it's like everyone gets in this like a scarcity resource scarcity mindset, right? Like where it's like you're battling, like it'd be like you're battling other DJs and there's not enough attention for both of you. So it's like, no, like I need to be doing better than this person. And that's like the worst mindset you can possibly get into, rather than just looking at that creator as somebody else who's in the industry who you can rope up with. Yeah. You can work together off of each other's audiences, off of the venue's audience, and everybody can grow as one. And that, like, if you have that mindset, you're going to do a lot better. Like, for example, if we were to, we continue, shooting at Barstool, and we begin to be able to characterize, do behind the scenes with you, like actually show who you are as a person, maybe something that you do in your set that's a little bit different. And then maybe that thing kind of excites more people, this little thing that we, add on or begin to show. And then that gets posted in collaboration with Barstool. And now you have a character on the Barstool page, and now people like expect to see you maybe, right? And then the same thing happens with other artists and with other DJs and whatnot. You begin to characterize the actual people at the venue. Now people, like, say we begin to characterize Iga, right? People are like, where's Iga? They'll start walking through the door being like, where's Iga? She's got to be here, right? This is her house. She throws the parties.
The bartenders, the servers, anything like that.
The security guards right now are
like if you look at
Aaron, Aaron and Chaz, they're constantly being like almost harassed to the point where they're like, are you mic'd up right now? Are you mic'd up? Like, can I be in your next video? Can I be in your next video? And it's like, and that's bringing people to 100%. Barstool. It's because they want to come here and they want to see Aaron. They want to see the guy that messes with people at the door. Like, because it gives him a personality. It makes him likable. And people love attention. Yeah. They want to come to Barstool because they want to get on the Barstool page. I mean, they saw that video got 4 million views. They're like, I want to be in a video with 4 million views in collaboration with Barstool, like huge social media company. It's like, and like that, like it brings people in, and it's just huge value add in general.
And we're talking about it like it's, I mean, that's what Barstool from an actual media platform, that's what they've done from the get-go. Yeah. They've just characterized the people that work for them, right? Like, Big Cat, right? Like
he's a Wisconsin guy. I love him.
There you go. Yeah. Right. Like that's
Portnoy.
Dave Portnoy, like, right. Of course. Like El Presidente. It's like,
but you just go through their office and it's like, oh, this is Dana Beers. This is like, you just know every
Brianna Chicken Fry. It's like
so
Plenty Balls.
And then so imagine, take that, put it in Barstool, Nashville, the actual venue. Now think about what that line looks like and who people want to see and what it's, and like people are going to be taking pictures of a bartender, which might be annoying, but like it's going to bring a lot of people in. I mean, and you're going to be getting tipped good because they're fans.
Last night I had 3 people come up to me and ask to take a picture with me. Like
not, hey, take a picture of me.
No,
they're like, oh, like take one with me.
Give your camera to my friend and take a picture of us 2 together. I'm like, I'm not famous. I am not famous. I have 1,000 Instagram followers. Yeah. That's it. Like, and it's like, it doesn't make sense. But because I work for Barstool, they think that I'm like, I get asked if I know Dave Portnoy probably like 8 times a night at least. If I know Brianna Chicken Fry 8 times a night, like it's insane. Have you met this guy? Like it's crazy being in collaboration with such a big company that does exactly what we were just talking about, characterizing everyone that works there to get people attached to
the brand.
Yeah. Way more than other places. It's really impressive, and it's a good direction. And Barstool understands that, and they know social media. So,
and that's something where they kind of stay on those trends. They're always kind of making new things. How do you guys go about staying on top of things creatively, staying in the forefront of like the creative world, bringing new ideas to these brands and clients that you guys are working with?
I'm addicted to TikTok.
Yeah, that's
so you got to go through there to see like
there has to be
staying popular. Yeah,
I think they're like, I would assume that you consume content to a certain extent, right? Like
100%. Yeah.
I mean, if you're creating, you have to consume to a certain extent. You have to consume to just know like what's continuing to do well.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is taking something from a different industry, tweaking it to make it apply to whatever I'm working on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing. I can't remember what it's called. Like, it's not pioneering, but it's called something else. It's like when someone's already created this style of doing something, but then you take it, you just tweak it a little bit to make it work for you or the client that you're working with, and then you bring that new idea to them.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. It's like, I mean, I'm chronically online. It's like,
dude, that's the exhausting part of it. Actually, that's the burnout part.
Yeah,
of it
it's like
you feel like you're like almost researching while you're doing it.
Pretty much. It's like whenever I'm on TikTok or on Instagram Reels or just on, like, I have like kind of my Instagram Reels is kind of focused more on video production and photography. It's very creative side, and then my TikTok is just stupid. I mean, it's just the trends and stuff.
Yeah.
And if you look at the Buffalo Bills, their TikTok page, whoever is running their account is absolutely chronically online. They go into the most niche little trends and stuff that succeed so well because they're like, no way this is the Buffalo Bills account making this joke or whatever, because like I don't know if you guys have seen this, the Outdoor Boys, it's a YouTube channel. Dude, but they made like an Outdoor Boys edit with the Buffalo Bills, and it blew up because everybody online is just like, who is running this account? Like, who knows?
How do they know about this?
This absolutely such niche joke. I don't know. You guys probably have no idea what it is.
No,
exactly. It's like
Maddie probably knows if it's on TikTok.
It's a big thing on TikTok. It's just like, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But like,
I know what you're talking about. With their page is unreal though. It's
all their
like
videos
all
go
the weird
absolutely
videos
viral.
that they do with like Josh Allen and stuff like that. Yeah. It's jokes.
It's like almost kind of shit that you have to do, because it's like, if you're not staying on top of those trends, they're not going to make any of those.
Yeah. It's almost like YouTube poop. It's crazy.
What they do really well. Yeah. I mean, what they do really well is making the people that work for the Buffalo Bills they're like people. They're just people.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's just like everybody in the comments of those videos, like, this person's chronically online. They're just like me. And then they relate. They establish that connection. They follow.
Yeah.
And
I just saw the Titans do one of like all the players trying to go and put their password into the keypad to get into the building.
Yeah.
And they were doing it. They put it up on Halloween, and they had a guy in like the Scream mask with a knife, and they were being like, are the players going to make it on a Halloween?
Yeah.
So they would go and try and enter in the code, and then the person would either make it to them and like stab them or not.
The Michael Myers thing. Yeah.
But I was like, see, like, that's fucking good content.
Yeah.
And it shows, like, it'll put like the caption of like what player it is, and then it lets them take off sprinting, and they're running to the thing trying to put their password into the keypad.
Yeah.
And then it's like the guy will come up and stab them if they take too long. I'm like, that shit's funny. So, and it's timing wise, like, you put it out on Halloween, so it's relatable for the day that it's coming out too. So
and good. Like, this content isn't necessarily super high quality either, especially from the Buffalo Bills.
Don't need to overproduce it.
It's all filmed on a phone, or like sometimes it's just like photo slideshows that just match the trend. Terrible quality, but because it's like funny and it matches the trend, everybody that's part of that trend, that's all you need. It like probably takes them like 15 minutes to do it, and it blows up, and it's super successful, and that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
It's like, it's sometimes different for like different industries, like nightlife and stuff. Like, we want to make everything look super sexy. So like it becomes like more of like you would want to kind of do a mix of between like, you know, the mic'd up stuff, which is not necessarily the best quality. I mean, I punch in all the way on my footage and stuff like that. It's like the audio is sometimes messed up, but that doesn't matter because it's supposed to be organic, natural. Like as long as you can hear what they're saying and see them, it's like that's fine. It's like,
and that's what the next step would be in characterizing the employees. It wouldn't be super high quality, sexy stuff. It'd just be like personable stuff.
Real,
real shit.
It's not going to be like using our, well, we'd use our cameras just because it's easy, but like, it's not going to be like using like, you know, I just recently got this like $2,000 lens that's super beautiful. I'm never going to use that to do any of that kind of content. It doesn't make sense. I'm going to use my $300 lens to do that kind of stuff that's super wide and makes everything look good, and
you're not going to miss anything.
You're not going to miss anything, and like that's what you'd want to use for that kind of content because it looks organic, it looks real, it doesn't look overproduced. Because when you try to get that like overproduced look for that kind of content that's supposed to be relatable, and it doesn't perform as well because people have a harder time relating to it.
Yeah, I feel like people almost feel like it's like set up at that point.
Oh, well, the amount of people that think those mic'd up videos are fake.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm just on the bridge with my camera. Like the security guards just go off and do random stuff.
Yep.
It's insane.
I mean, that says something about the industry. It's like anything overproduced, like people are beginning just not to trust in general.
Yeah, we talked about it with DJs too, where it's like a lot of people posting stuff on social media. It's like, all right, is this really them and their authentic selves, or are they just playing into this for their brand?
Right. Is this live mixed or is it pre-mixed?
Yeah, or that too. That's definitely a thing. But yeah, let's talk about it. For you, you've done a little bit of work in some other fields.
Yeah.
Doing some acting. So is that something that you think you kind of relate to working in photography and videography? You think it helps with that? Is that something you're looking to do more of?
Yeah. I mean, I'm still taking auditions. You know, everyone's striking in LA right now, so there's not much. There's
the writer's strike,
and the actors are striking as well, and not even sure. I think maybe the writer's strike's over, but the actors are still striking. I'm not really entirely sure, but not a lot of jobs coming through right now. Acted in a feature film like 2.5 years ago that just premiered in February. Called What's My Name Again? Amazon Prime, if you want to go check it out.
I need to.
And Tubi too, right? No?
Yeah, Tubi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Played a San Diego surfer. Pretty, just kind of looked like a San Diego surfer. I'm sure that helped. But yeah, it was an unbelievable experience. I would say like the end goal is to tell stories. I was affected most by watching movies when I was a kid. I was like, damn, I want to be in a movie. I want to like make a movie. I want to tell these stories. And I think that there's a huge advantage in learning the side of acting in order to be a good director or a producer or whatever it is that you're trying to be. And I think that that's why I still have such a strong fixation on acting more. Don't really have any interests. I guess you could say I modeled a little bit. Don't have any interest really in modeling. Mm-hmm. I mean, if it's a bag, it's a bag. Like you can take it and use it for something that you want to do. But it's acting and telling stories. I definitely would still be interested in that. With that being said, we have a lot going on. And we're juggling. Yeah, we're juggling
already
shit.
As is.
Yeah. So which honestly. Yeah, thank God to my wife, or else I'd probably have like the worst hygiene and zero clean clothes and like not be eating properly.
Shout out
She's the only one that's keeping you on track.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Summer takes care of, she takes care of all that stuff, which is, sometimes I feel like a college student still, and she's like helping me, helping me not be a college student.
I'm definitely still a college student. Not in terms of hygiene, but definitely eating.
Well, yeah, I mean, I appreciate you guys taking the time and getting in here, sitting down with me.
No, we appreciate you having us.
Like, seriously, this has been so much fun.
Telling the story, man. I appreciate all the work. Like, I love seeing good content and, picking a brain of some other people and getting this field, obviously with like my show, it's a lot of musicians, DJs, that kind of thing. But yeah, the whole world of nightlife and artistry and all that kind of stuff is awesome, and photography, videography is something that's never going to go away, especially with how social media and content creation is right now, and you guys have been killing it. So you deserve your flowers. That's
We
for sure.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it. I'm sure we'll be working together a lot in the future.
yeah.
So
It's, I mean, I'm gonna probably see you this weekend or something.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Let us know. Obviously, Winning Productions, and then Ryan, Patrick. Let us know where we can follow you guys online, check you guys out, and see all the work.
Yeah, I mean, at Winning Productions USA is the best way to follow us, and then
plug your personal, bro.
Yeah.
And then my personal is at maciel.p.h, which is my last name and some initials. But
Yeah.
Ryan's is just Ryan144.
Ryan Win 44. Like on all my socials. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys stopping by, taking the time. If you guys are looking for any of the DJ mixes, make sure you guys are following the platform. Those DJ mixes come out every single Monday. These podcasts come out every Wednesday. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Till next time. Thank you guys. Check. Mic check. 1, 2.
Yo, is this thing on or what?